So what I want to say is that it's not only about how fancy apps you use. You have to sort of put in some thought into designing and developing the chart to show the message that you want to convey with the chart. And of course, you need some software for that, but it's also very important to understand how to create a chart. So now I'll go very quickly through the 8 steps. And first, it is the selection of the chart. Let's imagine that I have here some data about 5 different self-driving cars, and I've tested them on different roads, unknown roads, known roads, and bad weather. And I want to show these results to my audience. Here is one way I could show it using box plots. I could show the exact same 5 technologies and the same 3 conditions using also this kind of a bar chart. And the same exact results I can also show using this cumulative bar chart, right? Again, 5 different technologies for 3 different conditions. So which one of these charts should I use? That's a very good question. And probably it depends on what message you want to convey with the data and what is your audience. For example, this box plot might be very familiar for scientists, but not so much for just ordinary people. The bar chart, maybe it's good to show, which car is behaving best in a certain environment. And if you want to convince someone to, invest in technology 5, you might show this cumulative bar chart because it shows overall which car is the best. So again, it just depends on the case of usage of the chart. All right, but where to start? If you open any graphic design or a chart creation software, you see just a vast amount of different chart types that you could use. And what I like to use is a very nice research done by Cleveland and McGill in the 80s, where they classified different quantitative attributes based on how well people translate them into numbers. So for example, it's easier for people to compare length than it is to compare area. And then you can line up sort of the different chart types based on these quantitative attributes. So anytime when you're creating a chart, it is a good idea to, generally speaking, take something from a higher row than it is to take something from lower in this overview. So for example, if you have a pie chart and the same data in a bar chart, it is better in most cases to use a bar chart because it's easier to compare length, which is number 3 or number 1 even here, compared to the angle or an area, which you have to do for a pie chart. And it's not always the case, it's not dumb-proof, so you have to sort of still look at the data and think what is your message, because in some cases, like in here, I think it's a very good use of area. Here you see the area shows the size of the country. It's not the primary data that you want to look in this chart for, but it is a very useful addition. Right. The next step is to show variability, and we are all researchers, so this is very important for us. And here, again, a very nice illustration of different data sets. What do you think each of these data sets have in common? You can see the distribution is a little bit different in each case, but what they have in common is that all of them can be shown by these 2 exact same bar charts with the same exact statistical variation. So it is important how you demonstrate your data and how you show the variance. And there are different ways to do this. You just have to pick the one that best fits your data. Next step, removing the clutter. So it's oftentimes the default settings make the charts a little bit cluttered, like in this case. And often it's pretty easy to make the charts look a little bit better. That's one reason. But another reason is that this enables you to go through the fourth step, which is to highlight a certain message in the chart. So here in the left side, it's very difficult to highlight something because it's already very busy. But if you take a chart like this is already looking pretty good. I could even declutter it a little bit more. I can make it all gray. It basically doesn't lose any information with that. But making it gray allows me to highlight something particular about this chart, basically showing a message of certain data that I want to convey to my audience. And now it's easy to see, whatever I wanted to highlight with this chart. Right, so we started with this one. Not really clear what the message is, even though it might be a nice chart. And here it's very clear, especially for a conference presentation, you might want to highlight a particular element. And there are different ways to do it, not only a color. You can use also connection or proximity or even motion and size. So there are different visual elements that one could use. Next up, we have number 5, which is to label the data. And this is sort of obvious. We always label the data, but exactly how to do it, even I had never thought about this before starting to write the book. But basically, how people read any information, whether it's a screen or a newspaper, we tend to first look at the left top corner and then sort of zigzag through the screen. Meaning that if the labels are important to understand your data, put them in the top left corner. If the chart is self-explanatory or you expect the audience to know the meaning of the data, you can put it in the corner on the bottom right side, for example. Even better if you can put the labels right next to the data, like in the case on the top right here. So this allows the audience to quicker understand and read the data. And this is especially important if you're doing a presentation at a conference where you have to go quickly through your slides. Next up, number 6, adding annotations. So here is an example of a chart which shows the CO2 emissions in different regions of the world. What we see here is that the emissions are growing overall, and at the end, around 2000, China is overtaking the rest of the world. But that's about it that we see here. If I put annotations on this chart, then suddenly it becomes much more meaningful. We see different events taking place. We see why these drops are there. And it's much more interesting to read the data. And I don't know why scientists are actually doing it so rarely, because this is a very nice way to make the data self-explanatory. Even in a research paper, people typically check out the charts before they read the paper. So like this, you're sort of piquing their interest and encouraging them to read the entire paper. Next, number 7, making visual order. There is some data here showing the salary of PhD graduates. But if I would want to highlight something particular about this chart, it is difficult because it seems just a little bit messy. So instead, I can convert this same data in this form where I would say, when I want to show how much people are earning after PhD graduation in different fields, and I rank them based on the salary. So I can easily compare them right here. So it just makes it more orderly and easier to read. And finally, number 8, testing if really you have accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. So if you end up with a chart looking something like this, it's probably a good idea to go through the 8 steps again. And I do this all the time. It's rarely the case that you just have one single solution for your data or one single way to present your data. So there might be different ways, and depending, like I said, on the audience and the messages you want to convey, you might select a different chart and different elements that you include in the chart. So just make sure to think about your audience and what are you saying with the data. And if you accomplish this, then you can really be proud of yourself. You've done a good job. By the way, I think data visualization is one of the first steps that make writing research papers easier. So in my research paper writing approach, actually this 8 steps, I would say, is the first thing that you do with the data before you even start writing a paper. So I call it the LEAP paper writing approach. And in the first step, I will go through these 8 chart progressions. So that was a very quick run through the 8 steps. Here I made the 8 steps, I summarized the 8 steps into one single, I call it a cheat sheet. So if you want to download it and remember the steps every time or the next time that you're creating your data chart, you can use this as a sort of a reminder and a guide. Also, you can take a photo and go to the website here. All right. Thank you.